Hello everyone, this is Natnarf Signing Off and welcome back to 999. 9 hours, 9 people, 9 person, 9 doors. Alright. But yeah, we're about to open the door. That we just vertical to open the door. No, I don't want to quit. I'm going to open a door. Open door. He paused for a moment, then stepped through into the room. And then he saw the number that had hung over their heads since they woken up. 9. Like the numbers on every door, this one too was a roughly shape made of red. The door was set into the back wall of the room. Junpei leaped toward it with a sudden burst of hopeful energy. It was a large double door, heavy, full of solemn importance. He grabbed hold of the door handle and shook. Nothing, but he hadn't expected it to open. Great, the red sat on the wall next to the door. The screen read vacant. Finally, they found it. Junpei felt himself overwhelmed by a torrent of emotion. At least they found the exit. But cold gripped his heart, and he knew all too well why. As he stood frozen, unsure what he think of hell. Junpei, look! Behind you! He spun around and couldn't believe what he saw. It was a door with the number 9 written across it. On the other side. Was there a second door? Why? Junpei's voice was barely audible, even to himself. He stumbled towards the second door as if somehow compelled. It was a small single door. It sat in the starboard corner of the room on the same wall as the door it entered from, but in the opposite corner. 9. There was no mistaking it. A red sat on the wall next to the door as well. Junpei shook the door handle pointlessly and muttered to himself, Why? Why the hell are there 2 doors? And then it was Sando unanswered. There were always 2 doors. Just think about it. Zero never said there was only 1 door with a 9 on it. There it is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9. Of course, we just assumed that there was only 1. After all, why would there be more than 1? Oh man, jeez. Junpei was stunned. Zero's trick had been taken him completely by surprise. There were 2 doors. That meant all the other 9 people who had met at the central staircase could escape and leave no one behind. Now the reason for the bracelet numbers being 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was the 9 never clear. Dividing the 2, the digital root for both teams would be 9. That's correct. For instance, 1, 2, 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. The digital root for both teams. I can't speak. Digital root for both teams would be 9. Or 2, 3, 4, 9, and 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Digital root would also be 9. There were many other workable combinations, but they all ended up with the same way, the digital root of 9. What did that mean? The answer was quite simple. From the very beginning, the nonary game was designed to save all 9 people. Zero hadn't been lying. Zero had never said there is only 1 door. But anyone who'd found themselves in the game would have assumed that was the case. Fights would have been broken out, one team would likely betray or deceive the other, someone might be hurt, someone might get killed, but eventually they would reach the room Junpei now found himself in and realized the pointlessness of whatever violence they'd visited upon each other. There were 2 doors. No need to kill each other. They'd understand and be appalled, overwhelmed with guilt at what they'd done. Perhaps that was the purpose of the game. That was how the nonary game was meant to be played. Fortunately, they hadn't started a fight with one another. At least not yet. But if one misstep was made, if the wrong had happened, the stakes would rise and the noose would tighten. The thought of it sent a chill down his spine. So what are we going to do, Junpei? A voice broke through Junpei's frantic thoughts. Santa's voice. It brought Junpei back to his senses. No use worrying about the future. He needed to figure out what they were going to do next. There were 4 people in the room. Santa, Junpei, and June. Their bracelet numbers were 1, 3, 5, 6. would be 6. In other words, 4 of them couldn't open the door with the number 9. What if there were only 3? Only 3 of them. Took him no time at all to determine the answer. There was only one combination of 3. Oh. Bye, June! We gotta go back. That wasn't a possibility he was willing to consider. Santa and Ace agreed. Yep, I agree. We cannot leave Jun behind. Junpei let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. Are you sure? I don't mind staying. You lady. Her body betrayed her true feelings. Her eyes were wet with the beginnings of tears. And her legs shook. It's okay. There's no way we'd leave you behind. Santa had said what Junpei had known the moment he realized 3 people could go through the door. Besides, I'd rather drown at the bottom of the ocean than escape with this sausage feet. Maybe I'll go get the Atlanta. I get to go to Atlanta. Really? Are you sure you don't mean Atlantis? Are you nuts? I'm going crazy already. Sudden reassurance that no one wanted to leave Jun behind, but Jerry laughed harder than he had for some time. You're crazy. They both smiled. You guys. She blinked, tears from her eyes, and bit her lip. Wow, you're posing. She didn't seem to know what else to say. Just say thank you! Let's head back to C deck, then we'll be able to take the elevator we passed earlier. Perhaps Clover 7 Lotus will have returned to door 1. From door 1 to door 1. Clover 7 Lotus. 7. Oh, no, I forgot Snake is not there. They knew finding the others wouldn't improve the situation. There was no way to split into teams that could both go through the door. Ace knew it. They all knew it. But there was nothing else they could do. They would find the other 3 and search for another solution. Alright, let's go. Alice looked all 3, then headed toward the door. Santa and June followed. Junpei started toward the door, then stopped. He'd been too busy with the other concerns to notice the room itself. It didn't seem terribly important now, but what exactly was it? Junpei looked around the room for the first time, noticing things that weren't doors with 9 on them. There's 9 benches between wooden benches that ran the length of the room. Okay, 10, 11. The carpet began at the large set of double doors and ran towards the boat toward. But you're sure? What's it, an altar perhaps? There was a small rectangular alcove at the end of the carpet. Inside the alcove was a raised platform. Resting on the top of the platform was a coffin. A coffin. A coffin. What on earth was a coffin doing in a place like this? But before Junpei had time to answer that question... Hey, Junpei, the hell are you doing? Let's move. I'm looking at a coffin! Alright, okay, I'll be right there. Junpei turned on his heel and left the quiet, somber room. I heard it! I left already? Are you serious? I didn't hear it in time? They took the elevator up to C deck. I didn't hear it in time. Once there, they headed back towards the main hall and the central staircase. It didn't take them long. Junpei found 7 Lotus and waiting for them. They didn't look happy. Oh, come on. Clover's gone. Where are you? Junpei and his 3 companions looked at one another. He turned back to 7 and Lotus. What do you mean gone? Had their own questions to ask. When? Why? You 2 went into door 1 with Clover, didn't you? CHUN and Lotus, 7 and Lotus responded as best as they could. Yeah, we went through the door together. But Clover barely spoke to us. She just did her own thing the whole time. there were 4 rooms on the other side of door 1. She wouldn't let us into the 4th room. She just said, "I'll take care of this one," and shut the door. She must have blocked it with something on the other side. We waited for a while, but Clover didn't come out. We called for her, but she didn't answer. So I kicked down the door and we went inside the room. Oh, you went into that hole! It was empty. Clover wasn't there. There was a door on the other wall, and it was open. We figured she'd opened the door and left by herself. We ran after her, of course, but obviously we didn't find her. You figured that out that much. So she's gone. Junpei thought for a moment. When did that happen? We just got here. We got here just before you. You certainly have excellent timing. So you haven't searched anywhere other than near the staircase? Nope, we haven't. Finally, Ace spoke. His voice had the rage of resolve and concern. Very well then, we'll best separate to look for her, and we haven't much time left. Let's begin. There are quick nods all around the room. 6 players remain. Press play! Junpei and Jun ran towards the room together as quickly as they could. They searched around and under the bed and then she's not here. Can't even speak. Alright, just in case, we could take a look in the shower room where the blood is. She might have gone to see him. But he's in the other room! He's in the coffin! Might as well check. Let's go. Screwdriver stuck between the door and the frame. Junpei and Jun slipped through the door and moved down the... How did you do that? Put the screwdriver in there. No luck. I don't think she's here. It was faint and she placed her hands over her mouth. Her face looked a little green because she saw the blood. It was almost unbearable. It had grown far more unpleasant since their last visit. If Junpei had eaten lunch, he would have had difficulty retaining it. He wanted to leave his room as soon as possible, but he had to be sure. And the only way to be sure was to check the other side of the divider. Right here. Offered no resistance and nodded too weakly to Junpei as he headed around the divider. I can't even speak. He stopped at the corner and turned his head. As he expected, Clover was nowhere near to be seen. The only thing on the other side of the divider was a dead body lying in a reddish-brown puddle of drying blood. There are many ways a man could die, but this... 5 cumbersome ways to kill a man. The skull was shattered and the head a little more than pulpy mess of a brain. Bone and viscera. The left arm was hideous, twisted in a horrific alien shape. The bright white of a ulna shining through the remains of skin and muscle. Wait, where's the bracelet? Bright white. Ulna. Bones. Pieces fell into place. Junpei remembered something Clover had told him in the laboratory. He had no bone! My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. The accident hurt really bad. To save him, they had to cut him off his arm. Of course. Of course! Why hadn't he realized it earlier? Clover had told Junpei that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. But the left arm of the corpse behind the divider was clearly a real human arm. Or at least it had been once. That meant he's alive! Junpei and Jun had headed back towards the hospital room. They stepped through the door and out of the shower room. Down the hallway they went, searching for Clover in every corner. They had reached the stairs when... Seven appeared, breathless and yelling. Jun, Junpei, where were you guys? He broke pale and his face was drawn. Something terrible had happened. Great. Caught his throat. Did something happen now? Seven drew a shaking hand across his face, gulped down a breath of air. Clover is... Oh, come on! I found her in the first-class bathroom. Suicide! All sounds ceased for Junpei. The world was empty, muffled expanse. Then he began to hear his own breathing. You really... moved, but he heard nothing. She tried once more, then her energy was gone, and she collapsed against the wall. He could have helped her, but he hadn't, and now she's dead. So he stood there frozen in place. Clover. Why had this happened? His body to move. Each step felt like another nail pounded into his heart. Finally, he was in front of her. He knelt and placed 3 fingers against his neck. Her neck. No pulse. No breath. But she was still warm and her eyes were closed peacefully. It would have been easy to think she was sleeping. Easy, that is, were it not for the slowly expanding pool of blood next beneath her. He traced its source to her back. A gush just beneath her shoulder blade. Was the weapon a knife? Or was the knife the killer had taken it when they left? When he closed his eyes, he saw Clover's smile. Her innocent smile. Oh, her energy. He would never see her smile again. He could have done something. He could have helped her. His stomach twitched itself into a sickening knot.